This sewing machine cost £100 and this sewing machine cost £4,000. If you've always wondered whether an expensive sewing machine actually works better than a cheaper one, I'm going to test these two sewing machines in this video. We're going to be doing direct side-by-side comparisons and sewing tests using the exact same fabric, thread and stitches to really see if we can actually tell a difference between the higher end one and the cheaper one. And one of the tests really surprised me that the cheaper version actually performed better than the expensive one. So first up, we've got the Brother LS14S, and it's actually my very first sewing machine. I bought this about 6 years ago and it cost around £80 to £100 at the time, and it is very beginner friendly and I find it's just a nice basic machine. And we're going to be comparing this to the Brother Celeste CX1. I got this at the start of the year and it cost around £4,000. It's definitely an advanced sewing machine with lots of features. So it's around 40 times more expensive than the basic one. So let's compare them and put them to the test. We're going to start off by sewing different stitches using the same fabric, and then I'll go through each machine individually and show you how their features differ. Let's start off with something incredibly simple, and that is a straight stitch. Realistically, if you're sewing clothes, you're going to be using this stitch a lot. Okay, so I've got both tests right here, and before I tell you which one is which, can you tell a difference? Probably not, because it is a simple straight stitch, but they both performed really well. It is something that all machines really should be doing perfectly. This is what this sample looks like. Obviously it looks great from the right side and the wrong side, and the other sample is pretty much identical. It's nice and even on the right and the wrong side. Nothing really to compare. Now let's do a bit of a harder test, and we're going to be using a zigzag stitch. Now I've got 2 layers of cotton jersey and I'm using a width of 4 and a length of 2. This one is actually pretty telling. You can see the cheaper machine actually has skipped some stitches compared to the expensive machine. Here's a close-up of what this looks like, and to be fair, this is something I found consistent with the cheaper models. Zigzag stitches don't always work perfectly. The other machine, however, did a really great job, and this is what it looks like from the right and the wrong side. Nice and even on both sides. Now let's try another zigzag stitch that's a bit narrower and shorter. They both actually did a really good job. One thing I found when using the cheaper machine is when it back stitches, it's less precise, whereas on the other machine, it sits nicely within the previous stitch. But it really is even on both of the machines, and there aren't any skip stitches on either of them too. Now I wanted to try some slippery fabric, so I've got this silk satin from Liberty. Both machines actually sewed the seam well, but funnily enough, the more expensive machine ate the fabric in the beginning, so there is a small pucker right there. The cheaper machine actually performed so much better than I thought it would, which is very surprising. I would have thought the cheaper machine wouldn't have been able to handle such fine fabric. Next up, we've got 5 layers of denim stacked on top of each other to see how it handles thickness, and they both went through the layers perfectly. I don't think there's an obvious winner here, but on the cheaper one, the stitches do slightly sink into the fabric more. I mean, you're not often sewing through 5 layers of fabric, but it's good to know how each machine actually handles thickness. Now I wanted to try using an overcast stitch, so if you don't have an overlocker, you can finish your edges neatly. The cheaper machine didn't have a specific overcast stitch, so I had to just use a zigzag stitch on the end, and the expensive model had a specific overcast stitch. They both worked really well, but I do prefer to use a dedicated overcast stitch so it resembles an overlocker better. In the past, I have had issues with the cheaper machine eating the edge of the fabric, but today I didn't have any of that. Okay, buttonholes are completely different on both of the machines. One is much more manual and the other is much more automatic. They both have dedicated buttonhole feet to actually put on the machine when you're sewing your buttonhole. On the cheaper machine, you do have to manually select each stitch for going across, up and down the buttonhole, whereas on the other machine, you just press one button and it does it all automatically. Which means on the cheaper machine, it's so hard to remain consistent, and you can see here where the top is more thicker than the sides, but the other machine is pretty even all around. You also have different buttonhole feet, and on this one you have to remember where to stop for the buttonhole on the height, but on the other one you actually leave the button in the foot when you're sewing, so it will just know how long the height needs to be and stop itself. Now let's go to a zigzag stitch with a ballpoint needle and using some stretch fabric. This actually worked really well, and you can see the cheaper machine does have more waviness at the seam, but the other one has some of the bobbin thread poking through. You can also get rid of any waviness on your seam when you use steam when ironing. Now for the last fabric test, I've got some slippery tulle to sew with, and I'm using a narrow zigzag stitch. You can see the cheaper machine has had some tunneling in between the stitches, and the other machine definitely looks more neater and flat. Tulle is definitely very difficult fabric to sew with, so I am surprised neither machine actually ate the fabric and got stuck. Hopefully that's been quite enlightening in how both machines actually sew and stitch. Now let's compare the features of both machines. So let's start off with the cheaper model, the Brother LS14S. So this one has a dial that you rotate to select what stitch you want to sew. There's actually 14 to choose from, which is pretty good. Whereas the expensive machine has a big touchscreen display that allows you to select from, I think, 760 stitches. So there's a lot of decorative stitches, buttonholes. You're also actually able to customize each stitch by using the buttons below. Now to thread this machine is pretty simple and standard like most other machines. You just put the bobbin in the bottom of the tray. You end up pulling the thread up by twisting the dial on the side, which is really nice and easy. However, I do find the other machine is so much more simple. It has this button which automatically threads the needle for you, and honestly it makes such a difference if you are sewing every day. Now to cut the thread on the cheaper machine, you have this cutter on the side. But on the other machine, there's a button which cuts the thread for you, and it also lifts the presser foot up too, so it's easier to take out. So to raise the presser foot, on the cheaper machine you have this lever. You need to actually lift up and down to raise or lower the foot. But on the other machine there's a button to do this automatically. This machine also has a speed level, so you can actually sew faster or slower, which is really great if you want to be more precise when you're sewing. So now that we've done that testing, what are my thoughts? Because I actually feel quite conflicted. Obviously, I love using my expensive Celeste CX1 machine. The difference for me is really night and day. But I have realized that when I first started using that machine, the cheaper model, it was my very first sewing machine, so I was learning as I was going along. So I probably wasn't threading the machine correctly and getting bird's nests underneath the fabric. And that's probably down to my lack of knowledge. Whereas now, being an experienced sewing pattern designer, using that machine is absolutely completely fine. I just find the features of the more expensive one make sewing so much less complicated and much more enjoyable to sew. Brother in general have really good machines at different price points. They have a whole Innovis range, and if you're someone that's kind of sitting in the middle where you don't want the cheapest machine but you don't want the most expensive machine, they have a lot of machines that you can find in the middle price point. I'll put a few on screen right now, some that I recommend that aren't too expensive, but also aren't too cheap and would perform really well. One thing I also wanted to point out is that they both feel very differently. So the cheaper model feels a bit more plasticky and very lightweight, which is good if you are just wanting to put your sewing machine away every day and pick it up, but it feels less sturdy and hard wearing. Whereas the more expensive one, that one is definitely heavier. That is not something you move up and down every day. It is meant to sit on the desk behind you. And I find when I'm using that, it feels sturdy, it just feels easy to sew with. There's a lot more room when you're sewing, which for me, when I'm sewing every day, it makes a huge difference. I actually really enjoy doing this video because it's really kind of shown me that the machine itself is kind of more geared to what you want to get out of sewing. If you're someone that's sewing every day, that wants precision, more accuracy, able to control things like speed, then obviously a automatic and more expensive machine is definitely for you. If you're someone completely brand new to sewing and you want to find out if you even like the skill to start with, definitely a cheaper machine will help you discover sewing in itself. I think for me, just having a more robust and hard wearing machine just feels more fun to sew with, because I know at the end of the day I'm not questioning or changing stitch tension levels. They always just seem to work. Whereas when I was starting out with sewing, I felt like I was always constantly adjusting the tension to make sure things don't pop through. One thing I forgot to mention as well is on the cheaper model, the thread kept coming out of the needle, which was so annoying. Even when I left a long thread tail, it would just kind of suck it back up. And I remember that happening all the time when I first started out. Whereas with the most expensive one, that one does not seem to happen ever. I'd love to know your thoughts on today's video and what type of sewing machine you actually have and enjoy using. I think it's one of those things that really is personal preference and also the budget that you can afford. One thing I also got a few years into my sewing journey was also to get an overlocker to use alongside the cheaper model, just because I wanted to sew stretch fabric more, and that made a huge difference. So I don't regularly sew stretch fabric on my sewing machines. I use that specifically for overlockers. But yeah, definitely let me know down in the comments what you thought of today's video and what you think of both of these sewing machines, and I'll see you in the next one.